But there are some techniques that you can use.
Yeah.
There's some techniques that are widely used, very very widely used, and surprisingly, there's a few of them that are very widely used and do not work. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna run some of them by you, and you tell me if you've been a victim of these,
Okay.
or maybe you still are. And if you're watching this, any of you are watching this, keep attention. And if you're also a victim, then let us know in the comments. Right. So study techniques that don't work. First one, and this is the one thing that they used to tell us to do all the time when I was in school, when I was a teenager back in the 80s.
Okay.
Right. So highlighting and underlining your texts. Right?
Yeah.
That is one technique that does not work to help you retain information whatsoever. Quite the opposite. It's a distraction to your brain because really what you're doing is drawing on the paper.
Mm-hmm.
You're not actually retaining what you're highlighting. You're just highlighting things. Your brain says, very nice line, and then moves on to the next thing and totally forgets practically immediately what you just highlighted, and it doesn't retain it at all. So if you're highlighting and dirtying your textbooks with highlights and circles and lines, stop doing it now because it doesn't work.
I want to say I agree with it in the sense that if this is your only study method, then it's not the best and you should probably move on. Find some other methods that work for you. But I do think there is a place for it. I think if you have your textbook, and at the end of the day, textbooks are massive amounts of information that just keep on getting thrown at you. So if there are parts that you say, okay, this would be very good, you highlight it and you say, this would be good to know. But it's not something that you just leave it there. You don't stop there. Then you have to go put it into your notes or do whatever, put it into flashcards, you know?
Okay.
I think it's a good thing to do, but it's the beginning of a process. It's not the whole process in itself. I do want to say that because
exactly
it's like I said, it does have a place, and I think it is useful in scenarios, but it's not something to do by itself.
Yeah, you're actually saying that it's the beginning of a process, and that process turns out it has a name, and it's called spaced repetition. However, as a method on its own is absolutely useless, and it should never be used on its own. I am going to highlight this text because that way, by highlighting it, I will remember it and I will retain that information, and I will understand it. Not at all. It doesn't work. Second thing that doesn't work at all is rereading your notes. So you take your notes, and you go back, you read them again, and you say, I got this. Sorted. Well, that again has been scientifically proven that it doesn't work. Okay, it creates an illusion of competence. It just says, I've made these notes, I am now reading them. Because you've written them, your brain recognizes them as something that very familiar, and immediately creates the illusion in your mind that you know it. And that is not true at all. In fact, it is so easy that your brain immediately forgets it. Straight away. So rereading your notes once does not work at all. It has to be, again, just like highlighting, understanding, and highlighting or underlining your text. It has to be an infinite part of a larger process. Right?
Yeah, I completely agree.
And then finally, something that oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, but I think I'll add this into the things that do work for me. So I'll continue.
Okay. So, and then finally, one more that everybody does, and I know I've been a victim of this in the past, is the cramming, the massed practice, cramming a whole semester's worth of work and knowledge into a 24-hour window or a 48-hour window and study 12 hours a day for one day, in a desperate attempt to retain absolutely everything you've learned. And that might work for that one exam that you're studying for. Yeah. But it's already proven that, well, you might ace that one exam. 3 days later, you've totally forgotten everything that you studied because it was just way too much information in too short a period of time. And your brain, again, says, I don't need that much information. It's absolutely useless to me for my survival at this point of time. so I'm going to dismiss it and get rid of it.
Yeah, that's one that's very, very true. I I do it all the time, to be honest. I do it for I did
Really,
it.
even now?
I did it, yeah, for my one of my latest exams. There was one of the lessons, one of the specific subjects which I didn't really know too well, and the classes weren't the best. So yeah, about 48 hours before the exam, me and my study buddy, we we kind of just crammed all the information as much as we could until the exam, and like you said, promptly the next day, completely forgot about it. I couldn't tell you
What
any
was
of the
you studying?
information that I crammed
Yeah.
now, to be honest.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, sometimes that's what you got to do. You just got to cram, and then if you need it in the future, you'll start learning it the hard way, to be honest. But yeah,
But you passed your exam. It served its purpose.
I'm pretty sure I did. I'm pretty sure I did. I did.
Yeah.
I
Well,
felt
I mean
quite
that
confident in that exam.
that does have its place, right? I mean the whole idea of having an exam is that you get good grades.
Yeah,
Whoever sets the exam does not care if you're going to be doing good after that. They just want you to have a good grade during that exam, right?
exactly.